Look at your bank account, look at your body, and look at the relationships that you keep ending up in. Every single one of those is a mirror. It's not the economy, it's not bad luck, it's not your ex, it's a mirror. It's showing you in real numbers and in real circumstances who the man standing in front of it is. And here's what almost everybody gets wrong. They spend their whole life scrubbing the glass. New job, new woman, new diet. They're attacking the image and wondering why the self-reflection keeps coming back. So today I'm gonna show you the one law underneath all of it, why the same problems keep happening to you, and how to finally read your life the right way, as a report card, not as a sentence. So let's dive in and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Last week we did something that majority of men don't do their entire lives, which is we learn to read our own frequency from the inside. We learn to stop, we learn to drop into the body, and how to get an honest read on the state that we're actually broadcasting. And you guys spent the whole week doing the audit. You guys hunted down the pattern. You started to see which rooms and people and inputs were dropping your frequency. Now tonight, what we're gonna do is turn that exact same skill around, and now we're gonna point it in the other direction. Because the thing that nobody has told you about this is you don't only read your frequency from the inside, you also read it from the outside as well. And the outside never lies. So this is the law of correspondence, and it's one line. As within, so without. So what is happening inside you is showing up precisely in the world around you. And your inner state and your outer life always correspond, they always match. And this is law. The same way the law of gravity exists, so does the law of correspondence. So let's get into it. I want to be straight with you about everything we're about to cover tonight. This one's going to be short, but it's going to be brutal. It's going to be absolutely brutal. Because of everything we cover together, this is the law that most men are fighting the hardest, because it takes the finger that you've been pointing at the world and it turns it right back onto you. So some of you are going to feel resistance in your chest before I even finish the next slide. And if you do, that's a good thing. I want you to notice it, because that resistance is the exact thing we're here to work on. So let me show you the principle, okay? Your bank account, your body, your relationships, your drama, all of these are mirrors. Who just joined in? Matt. I think I let him in. Okay. For example, your bank account is a mirror. Okay, and this is a principle I need you to learn before I move on. Your bank account is a mirror. Your body is a mirror. Your relationships are a mirror. And again, the drama in your life is a mirror. The chaos that keeps finding you in your life is a mirror. Just let in Solomon. All of these things are a mirror. And none of these things are just facts about the world, but every single one of them is a reflection. It's a surface showing you in hard numbers and in real circumstances, the state of the man standing in front of it. So the balance in your bank account reflects your relationship with your own worth. The condition of the body reflects the standard that you hold, not the one that you talk about. And the quality of your relationships reflect what you believe that you deserve and what you're broadcasting. The drama in your life reflects the storm that you haven't settled on the inside. Now, this is where most men waste their entire lives. They spend everything they've got trying to fix the reflection, scrubbing the mirror. Oh, I'm going to get a new job to fix the money. I'm going to get a new woman to fix the relationship. I'm going to change my diet to fix my body. Every single man is attacking the surface over and over and over and wondering why the same image keeps showing back up in the mirror. You can't change your reflection by scrubbing the glass. All right, I want you to genuinely picture this image to see how stupid this is. Okay, and you guys aren't wrong if you've been doing it this way. You just didn't know. But imagine you had like dirt on your face, and you look in the mirror and you see the dirt, and you spend 15 minutes Windexing the mirror to try to get the dirt off your face. That is what you're doing when you're trying to change something external to fix an internal problem. So stop trying to clean the mirror and just wash your face. That's literally the whole law of correspondence in 5 words. The mirror isn't the issue. The mirror is just going to be honest. If you don't like what the mirror is showing you, don't argue with the glass. change the thing that it's reflecting, which is you. And this connects straight back to last week where we said everything out there is downstream of the state that you are in. If you change the state, the reflection has no choice but to follow. So if the results in your life are just reflections, what are we supposed to do with them? Well, I'm going to tell you, this is the reframe that's going to change everything for you. A report card tells you who you are. A sentence tells you what you deserve, right? So this is the distinction that decides whether the law crushes you or whether the law frees you. A report card and a sentence are two completely different things. A report card tells you where you are. A sentence tells you what you deserve. It's the same information, but a wildly different meaning depending on which one you think you're holding. So most people read their results as a sentence. They look at the bank account, they look at their body, they look at a failed relationship, and they hear a verdict. This is what I'm worth. This is what I deserve. This is who I am. Case closed. And a sentence is final. There's nothing to do with a sentence except serve it. So they do. They resign themselves. They just quietly accept the reality that the sentence, the mirror, is handing them. But the results in the mirror were never a sentence. They're actually a report card. Your results are a diagnostic, not your destiny. A report card isn't telling you who you are forever. It's telling you where you stand right now. So you know exactly what to adjust. It's not a judgment about you. A report card is just data. So watch how the difference actually plays out. A person who reads his bank account as a sentence stays poor because you can't fix a verdict. You can only accept it. But the man who reads the same bank account as a report card adjusts. He asks what the number is showing him about his inputs, about his standards, about his state, and he changes those things. Same number, two entirely different futures decided by which way he read the mirror. This is the part that should take weight off your chest. A report card is never an indictment on you as a man. It's simply a readout. Okay, it's showing you a flaw in the system that you've been running. But a flaw in the system is fixable. That's not shame, that's a starting point. So let me show you where the mirror is going to be loudest and where it's practically shouting at you. If a single result is the mirror speaking, a recurring pattern is the mirror shouting. So the loudest reflection you own is the thing that keeps happening in your life. When something happens once, you can blame the circumstance. Okay, that's fair enough. But when the same thing keeps happening, whether that's different people, different places, different year, but the same result keeps recurring, the only constant left in the equation becomes you. You are the common denominator in every single recurring pattern in your life, and this is not an insult, this is math. So look at them very honestly. The same fight with two different women. The mirror is showing you something. It's not that you keep finding the same woman, it's that you keep bringing the same man. Same thing for a money problem. You change the job, different paycheck, different boss, but same hole in the bottom of the bucket. The mirror is showing you something. Maybe it's the same friend dynamic, but you have it with different people. No matter what friends you have in your life, you keep finding the same dynamic. You keep ending up feeling the same way. You keep being cast in the same role in the friend group across totally different people. The mirror is showing you something. And you already met this last week from the inside. You were hunting for the pattern in your audit, right? So which environments, which people reliably dropped your frequency. This is going to be the exact same hunt, but run from the outside, right? Same regulating force underneath. It's the set point pulling you back to the same baseline again and again and again, showing up now as a repeating shape in your actual life. Recurring patterns are reflections. They're not your destiny. Say that back to yourself. They are not your destiny. They are a reflection, which means it can change the instant that the man in front of the mirror changes. Now, there's one specific pattern that I have to name. Because a lot of you are living inside this pattern right now. You get within striking distance of your target, of the life that you want to build, of the identity you want to be. And then it falls apart. And this is a mirror that a lot of high capacity men carry, and it's pretty cruel. Like I said, you get very close, but then it all comes apart right in your hands, right at your fingertips. You know this one if you've lived it. Maybe it's the almost promotion that you almost got. The role was practically yours, and then boom, something happened. Or maybe it was the almost relationship. It was almost finally going right, and you found the exit. Or maybe she did. Maybe it was an almost fitness goal. You were weeks away, and then the wheels came off. Again and again, you get close, you get painfully close, and then it all collapses right at the threshold. Listen to me very carefully, okay? Because this is the reframe. None of this is bad luck. Bad luck doesn't have a pattern. This has a pattern. What you're watching is the identity thermostat regulating itself. You've climbed above your set point. You got closer to the wind than your internal baseline was calibrated for, and something in you reached out and pulled the temperature back down to where it should be. So self-sabotage wasn't random. It was a system defending a set point. And the exact same mechanism that we named last week, where a win reached from below your baseline gets dragged back to baseline. You've probably watched it happen in slow motion right at the finish line. I'm sure you've all experienced this in some way. So that's the pattern that I need to name for you guys. But I want to be totally honest with you. Reading the pattern is only one thing, and dissolving the thing underneath, it is the deeper work that we're going to get into this week and in weeks ahead. So tonight, the only job I have for you guys is to begin to see it, to actually catch the pattern and stop calling it bad luck. Naming it is the first piece. So sit with it for a little while. Ask yourself this question multiple times this week. Where do you get close? And then find the exit. Now, let me address the objection that's probably already rising within your mind. Right now, there's probably a voice in your head loading up, and it's a defense mechanism. Oh, but the economy, but my ex, but you didn't know what she did, but no, you don't know my parents, you don't know how I was raised, you don't know my situation. Oh, you don't know my boss. It's my industry. It's my bad break. I can literally hear it radiating out of your heads from here. And I want to say something that might surprise you. You're actually right. You're right. Every one of those things is real. The economy is real. What your ex did was real. Your parents, your boss, the genuine bad luck, all of those things are real. And I'm not going to stand up here and tell you that the external world is an illusion and nothing ever happened to you, because that would be a lie, and you would be totally right to reject it. But the part that's difficult to actually internalize and hold, so I want you to hold this with me, is that all of that is true, but the law still holds. Both things exist at once. External factors are real, and your internal response to those external factors is what crystallizes the result. So the event happens to everyone, but what it becomes, a temporary setback or a permanent chapter in a story of your life, that is decided by the state you meet it in. So two men can take an identical hit. An external thing happens to both of them. One metabolizes it in a week, and the other one is still carrying it 10 years later, letting it shape every decision he makes in his life. It's the same event, different internal response, completely different life, right? There's nothing that's inherently good or bad. It's how you perceive it and what you choose to do with it. So the thing I want you to do tonight is, for context, and ask the question, what does it say about you? What does it say about you? Not because the context itself isn't real or the thing didn't happen, but because the context is not the leverage. You can't reach back and change the economy or change your ex or change your childhood. You have almost no control there. But the one thing you have total control over would be your internal response, the state you carry. That is the one thing upstream of the results. So we put our hands on the only dial that would actually move. And that leads to reading the thing that separates the men who grow from these events and the man who stays stuck from these events. And this is where I draw a hard line, because this law often gets very misheard. And the misunderstanding is what wrecks people. So hear this. This is not blame. I'm not telling you that you caused every bad thing that ever happened to you, because you didn't. Some of it just happened to you through no fault of your own. Real harm on you, or real loss in your life, or things done to you that you did not invite into your life. But reading your life as a mirror doesn't mean standing in front of it and beating yourself up for the reflection. That's not the work I'm talking about. That's just the old low frequency wearing a new mask, and it changes nothing. However, the responsibility is different. And a responsibility is a different thing from blame. Blame looks like backwards, where you ask, whose fault is this? Responsibility looks forwards, and it asks, what do I do with it now? Blame is about the cause. Responsibility is about your response. Literally, your ability to respond. Because responding and reacting are very different things. Reacting is your natural reaction to a situation. Oh, I have no control over this. This happened to me. That's just how it is. Responding is when you choose to do what you please with the situation. So what you do with the mirror starting tonight sits in your hands, and that's not a burden for you to carry. Those are the keys that you need to write your own story in life. So the one thing that I want you to remember, and you can even write this down, is that sovereignty starts where blame ends. As long as the cause of your life lives out there, whether it's in that woman or in that person or in that career, then the power to change it also lives out there too. And you're waiting on the world to hand you a different reflection, but it never will. But the moment you stop assigning blame and pick up responsibility, all that power comes back home to you. And you become the operator again. And rebuilding the operator instead of scrubbing the mirror is the only thing that ever actually changes the reflection. So let's put this all to work now. Here's your assignment for this week. Some of you, this is still in your task list. Some of you, I've moved it over to your resources. I want you to open up your mirror inventory. So the I am statements. I want you to open that up. And I want you to use that worksheet with basically everything I've given you. I want you to open that worksheet. And what I want you to do is list 5 recurring patterns in your life. 5 of them. The same kind of problem that keeps showing up over and over across different people or different circumstances. The repeating fight you keep having, the repeating money situation you keep having, the repeating dynamic where you end up feeling the same way that you always do. Don't reach for the dramatic one-time events. Reach for the reruns, the situations where, if you're honest, you've been here before. Step 2, and this is the whole exercise. For each pattern, ask yourself one question. What does this say about my internal state? Not what's wrong with them, not what's wrong with the world. What is the reflection showing me about the man standing in front of it? About what I believe I deserve, about the state that I keep bringing, about the set point that I keep defending. And write the answer next to each one, and that's it. I want you to train yourself to find these patterns, because if you find them, you now hold the keys to change them. So 5 patterns, 5 internal sources. It'll take you 20 minutes tops, but it might rearrange the way you see your entire life. And so I want you to know this. What you write on that sheet is basically the raw material for the identity work that's coming next, because these presentations going forward are about to get extremely deep. Extremely deep. And you cannot dissolve what you haven't first seen. So this week is about holding up the mirror and finally reading it straight. not scrubbing it, not blaming it, just taking an honest look. So get those 5 things down, find the internal source of each, and we will go over it together. But in closing, the world isn't happening to you. The world is showing you. I need you to remember this in those moments when things get difficult. The world isn't happening to you. The world is showing you. Every result in your life, every pattern, every reflection that you don't like, it was never a sentence handed down by a hostile universe. It was a report card. It was honest. It was precise. And it's honestly on your side if you're man enough to read it the right way. And the reflex that your whole life trained into you, which is to attack the reflection, to fix the money, the woman, the circumstance, to scrub harder at the glass, that reflex has never once changed the image, and it never will. So stop trying to clean the mirror and change your face. Change the man in front of it. Rebuild the operator underneath. Get the state right on the inside, which is the exact work that we started doing last week, and watch how the reflection tends to just reorganize itself around that new man without you even touching the glass, right? So now you've got the law, you've got the mirror. This week, hold it up straight, read it straight, identify those 5 patterns. So that's the law. The world isn't happening to you, it's showing you. Every result, every pattern, and every reflection was never a sentence about you. It's just a report card, and it's on your side if you're man enough to read it straight. So this week, don't scrub the glass. Find the recurring patterns and ask what the reflection is showing you about the man in front of it. And if you found this valuable, subscribe to my channel.